Let's be honest, who hasn't stared in the mirror, battling their lashes? That relentless quest for the perfect curl, the struggle is real, isn't it? You try to curl them, but they just won't stay lifted, or the angle looks totally unnatural. And let's not even talk about the dreaded eyelid pinch. Ouch. Mascara alone often falls short. And options like lash extensions, while glamorous, well, they can feel like a huge commitment. Time, money, ongoing maintenance. And it's a lot. For years, we've kind of navigated this beauty landscape filled with quick fixes and, yeah, hefty investments for our lashes. But what if the real game changer was a surprisingly simple tool, one that challenges our assumptions about what's truly effective and maybe sustainable? You've brought us some fantastic sources that promise just that. A heated eyelash curler used in combination with mascara. And our mission today is to unpack these sources, give you the shortcut to effortlessly beautiful, long-lasting curls. We're diving into not just the how, but the why behind this, well, increasingly popular solution.
It's truly insightful, actually, how these sources zero in on such a universal beauty frustration. And they offer a surprisingly straightforward, yet, scientifically supported path to overcoming it. We're going to explore not just the mechanics of this tool, but the underlying principles that make it so effective. This should let you cut through the noise, really understand exactly why it's gaining so much traction as an alternative to other methods. This deep dive is designed to arm you with knowledge, quickly and thoroughly.
Okay, let's unpack this then, get some actual insight. Our sources immediately highlight a core, sort of game-changing benefit. Heated eyelash curlers deliver curls that last significantly longer. And they're far more resistant to the environmental challenges we all face, like humidity and the natural oils on our skin. It sounds like a dream for anyone whose lashes tend to droop throughout the day, basically erasing all that effort.
Indeed. And to truly understand why this works so effectively, we probably need to consider the science behind it, just a bit. Unlike traditional mechanical curlers, which, essentially crimp and temporarily bend the lashes, heated curlers leverage the principle that heat temporarily reshapes the keratin bonds in your lashes.
Keratin, like in our hair.
Exactly. Keratin is the protein that makes up your hair, and just like with your head hair, gentle heat allows for a more stable, sort of semi-permanent reformation of these bonds. So this means the curl isn't just bent, it's actually set,
Okay, set.
which makes it significantly more resilient against the very factors, moisture, oil, even gravity, that typically cause traditional curls to fall flat.
That deeper explanation really puts it into perspective. It's not just a warm crimp, it's a gentle, heat-activated reshaping.
Mm.
And linking this to a common concern, the sources explicitly mention a significantly lower risk of pinching or breaking lashes compared to those traditional, often kind of aggressive mechanical curlers. That's a huge relief for anyone who's had, let's say, a traumatic curler experience.
Absolutely. The design of many heated curlers, often with a comb-like applicator, allows for a much gentler approach. This precision means you can target even the shortest lashes or those tricky outer corner ones that mechanical curlers often just miss completely.
Right. Those are always the hardest.
Plus, they work beautifully with mascara rather than just pre-application where you risk clumping or smudging, because the heat is gentle on the roots and it allows for that post-mascara refinement.
That precision sounds incredibly useful, especially for those stubborn inner or outer lashes. But for something so seemingly simple, there's always a bit of a learning curve, right? What, if anything, do the sources highlight as potential drawbacks or challenges in mastering this tool?
You're right to ask. While highly effective, the sources do note that there's a slight learning curve. It's not like instant perfection necessarily. They suggest it might take you maybe 2 or 3 tries to really get the hang of it.
Okay, 2 or 3 tries. That's not bad.
No, and after that initial practice, it becomes remarkably intuitive and fast. Think of it like learning to perfectly apply liquid eyeliner. A little patience initially pays off with consistent, beautiful results.
Okay, fair enough. A little practice upfront for lasting payoff. That's a trade-off many of us are probably willing to make.
Mm-hmm.
But for users on the go or those who travel frequently, there's a practical consideration. These tools require batteries or charging. How do the sources address that aspect?
This brings up an important point, definitely, for practicality. While the effectiveness is high, their reliance on power means keeping an eye on the battery level is crucial. Many models are USB rechargeable now, which is convenient, but you'll want to charge it fully before a long day or travel, obviously. For those with removable batteries, like AAAs or AAAs, always have spares handy, especially if you're not near a charging port. It's a small planning step, but yeah, essential for consistent results.
Right, makes sense. So, okay, you're intrigued, you're ready to try it. How exactly do you use one of these to achieve that perfect, lasting curl we're talking about? Our sources lay out a clear, step-by-step guide that seems to generally apply across brands, even if specific preheating times might vary a little bit.
The process is quite intuitive, actually, designed for efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
First, you power on the device and let it preheat. This typically takes a surprisingly quick 10 to 30 seconds. Often there's a color change on the curler strip or maybe an indicator light.
Okay,
You want it warm, obviously not searing hot, just enough to do its work gently.
got it. Then, you gently slide the heated comb from the lash roots up to the tips, pausing for, what, 2-3 seconds in each section?
Exactly. That pause is crucial. The sources explain that this brief pause allows the controlled heat to optimally soften the lash keratin just enough for it to reform into that desired curve, all without overheating or causing damage. Think of it like gently heat-setting hair, but, for your delicate lashes.
Okay, gentle heat setting. Makes sense.
And then, to reinforce that lift and give it maximum impact, the instruction is to hold the curler specifically at the base of your lashes for another 2-3 seconds.
Right at the base.
Yep. This targets the root, which is where you get the most leverage for that upward curl, preventing them from just sort of bending in the middle.
Now, this next step from the sources is quite clever, I thought. It truly optimizes the curl. After that initial curl, you apply your mascara, making sure to wipe off any excess on a tissue to avoid clumps. Standard practice.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the cool part for a final touch-up. Once your mascara hardens a bit, you run the heated curler through your lashes again. Apparently, the warmth softens any clumps and gives the curl an extra boost, like a kind of heat seal for your mascara.
It's a brilliant technique, really. It allows the mascara to act as a further setting agent once it's gently reactivated by the heat. It ensures the curl is locked in and smooth, and it addresses those minor clumps that can sometimes appear after mascara application.
Mhm.
It's a real pro tip.
Yeah, that second pass sounds like it makes a big difference. So with these insights, you might be thinking about specific brands. Our sources do highlight a couple of highly rated popular options listeners might want to check out. The first is the Dahcolor Heated Eyelash Curler. It's praised as a bestseller, creates a smooth, even, natural curl once you've practiced. Users often mention its ergonomic design and how quickly it heats up.
And the second one mentioned is the Dust 2 Oasis Heated Eyelash Curler. This one also has plenty of positive feedback. It's especially noted for its impressive 24-hour long-lasting curl hold. So, longevity seems key there. These specifics can really help you make an informed choice, especially when you're looking for reliability and, well, sustained performance.
Definitely good to have some names. But before we dive too deep into specific products, a crucial question often comes up when we talk about heat near our eyes. Do heated eyelash curlers damage lashes? Let's see what the sources reveal about that very common concern.
This is a really important question, absolutely. And it's a valid concern for anyone using heat on delicate areas. The sources are quite clear on this. When used correctly, with a quality product that offers temperature control, heated eyelash curlers are generally safe and gentle.
When used correctly.
Right. The key here is controlled heat. Modern heated curlers are designed to operate at a safe temperature. It's sufficient to reshape the keratin without scorching or breaking the lashes, unlike, say, putting a too hot traditional curling iron directly on your head hair. They really dispel that common misconception that any heat automatically equals damage near the eyes.
That's a huge relief, honestly, knowing the technology is designed with safety in mind. Now, another practical question, especially for our listeners who travel. Can you bring a heated eyelash curler on a plane?
Yes, you absolutely can. They're considered small beauty tools and are typically allowed in either carry-on or checked luggage. However, and this is important, there's a crucial distinction based on the battery type, which the sources highlight.
The battery rules. Always tricky.
Exactly. If it's rechargeable with a built-in lithium battery, which many modern devices are, it must be in your carry-on luggage. This is a standard airline safety regulation. It's about the potential fire risk of lithium batteries down in the cargo hold.
Okay, carry on for lithium. Got it.
But for those models with removable batteries, like your standard AAA or AA, you just remove them, carry the battery separately, maybe in your carry-on too, just to be safe, while the curler body itself can be checked if you want. And this applies pretty much universally, even for international travel to places like Japan, where airline battery guidelines are consistent. It's all about preventing potential hazards in the air.
That's incredibly helpful, especially for frequent flyers wanting to keep up their routine. So moving beyond the heated curler, our sources also dive into other popular lash enhancement methods. It gives us a broader perspective on the landscape of options. Let's
Hmm.
talk about lash extensions, for instance. They can certainly offer a different kind of volume, that immediate wow factor. But our sources highlight several significant reasons why they might not be the right fit for everyone.
Yeah, this is where a comparative look is really valuable for, our informed listeners.
Yeah.
What's truly insightful here are the specific contraindications for extensions, like who should actively avoid them. Anyone with existing eye infections, conjunctivitis, that's the inflammation of the outer eye membrane,
Pink eye, basically.
right, or sensitive skin around the eyes, known glue allergies, or if you've had recent eye surgery. These aren't just minor suggestions, they're crucial health warnings. The adhesives used can seriously exacerbate these conditions or cause severe reactions, sometimes leading to, well, permanent damage in worst cases.
Wow, okay. That makes perfect sense. Eye health has to be the absolute top priority. And beyond those immediate health concerns, the sources also mention long-term implications.
They do. Long-term, continuous use of extensions may weaken your natural lash follicles. This could potentially lead to thinner or sparser natural lashes over time. It really suggests the need for breaks, very careful maintenance, and a strong focus on natural lash care if you choose to go down that route.
Right, so it's not just a one-and-done thing.
Definitely not. It raises that important question about balancing the aesthetics you want with your long-term lash health and, frankly, sustainability. And the ongoing commitment is substantial. If you do get them, refills are needed typically every 3 to 4 weeks.
Why so often?
It's because of the natural lash growth cycle. Each of your natural lashes has its own life cycle, and as they shed naturally, so do the extensions attached to them. This means recurring appointments, recurring costs.
And the daily maintenance isn't trivial either, is it?
Not at all. Washing your face requires super gentle, oil-free removers. You have to avoid any rubbing or tugging. Even sleeping on your back is often recommended to preserve them longer.
It's a lot of consistent care. And a significant financial commitment when you factor in the initial application, plus refills every month, potentially for years. It really makes you weigh that initial wow factor against the ongoing reality and cost.
It absolutely does. The total cost of extensions over just a year can easily run into hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. Not to mention the time commitment for all those appointments. It dramatically contrasts with a one-time purchase of a heated curler and your regular mascara.
Yeah, quite the difference. Our sources also clarify the difference between lash perming and keratin lash lifts, which sometimes get confused. Both aim to add curl, but they achieve it differently and offer different benefits, right?
That's a key distinction, yes. Traditional lash perming often uses heat or a chemical solution, sometimes relying on harsher chemicals like ammonium thioglycolate. This breaks down the lash's protein structure to reset its shape.
Sounds intense.
It can be. While effective, these solutions can sometimes be drying or even damaging if not done correctly, or if your lashes are naturally brittle to begin with.
And then there's the keratin lash lift, which sounds gentler, more nurturing.
Precisely. A keratin lash lift takes that concept but refines it. It also uses a lifting solution, but it specifically integrates nourishing keratin protein during the process. Our sources highlight this as a significant advantage. It doesn't just set the curl, it also strengthens and conditions the lashes at the same time.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a treatment in a curl.
Kind of, yeah. The keratin essentially fills and smooths the lash surface, making them appear healthier, thicker, and more resilient. It provides a benefit beyond just the curl itself. This generally makes it a preferred option for those seeking salon treatments who are also really concerned about their lash health.
Okay, that's a really helpful distinction. So wrapping this all up, what does this really mean for you, our listener? Our deep dive into these sources has shown us a pretty clear path to achieving those long-lasting, effortlessly curled lashes maybe you've been hoping for. And with a surprisingly simple yet scientifically sound tool. It seems to be about understanding the mechanics, mastering the technique, and weighing your options based on your lifestyle, budget, and, importantly, your lash health priorities.
We've definitely seen how a heated eyelash curler, when used correctly and with a quality product, can offer a safe, gentle, and incredibly effective alternative, especially compared to more time-consuming, expensive, or potentially damaging options like extensions or even traditional perms. It intelligently bridges that gap between just everyday mascara and more intensive salon treatments, delivering salon-like results with everyday convenience.
It really highlights how sometimes the simplest, most accessible solution, especially when backed by a bit of scientific understanding, can be the most effective. It cuts through the noise of countless beauty hacks and products out there. It sort of empowers you to take control of your lash game without the hefty investment or complex maintenance routines.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, maybe it encourages us all to question our preconceived notions about beauty solutions sometimes. Sometimes the most revolutionary innovations aren't these grand, complex treatments, but rather clever refinements of existing principles, bringing significant improvements to our daily routines in a surprisingly straightforward way.
So for you, our curious listener, here's a final thought to ponder. In a world that often presents complex problems with even more complex solutions, where else might a simple, well-designed tool, understood with just a touch of scientific insight, revolutionize a common struggle you face, turning frustration into effortless elegance? What other overlooked innovations might be waiting right there for you to discover?